Now, you may remember the developer of Captain Sim, one of the most controversial developers for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Already, they can't keep getting away with this, everybody. I mean, they've released quite a few aircraft, from the 717 to the 767, 777, and all those aircraft had one thing going for them, and that was that the modeling was absolutely beautiful. We do have to say that. Both exterior and even interior is actually kind of nice, but they were clearly lacking in system depth. I mean, this is the 717, a more recent aircraft, and this one is definitely not too shabby. While it uses some elements from the default A320, wasn't that bad. I remember the C-130J that they came up with also relatively recently was really not bad at all. Service mode, we can see the engine cowlings, we can see the engine inside. Feels like Captain Sim is trying to change at the moment. Perhaps they don't want to be called Captain Scam anymore. And it's interesting because Captain Sim reached out to me because they want me to review an aircraft that comes out this week, which is quite a surprise to me because I've had my differences.
This plane is so disappointing. I've probably not been this disappointed in a year.
Differences that they're aware of. Captain Sim reached out to me and said, well, on the 9th of January, we're releasing a space shuttle for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And I said, well, that's quite interesting. I asked them, can you send me a preview unit to review early on? And they said yes. So everybody, here is the space shuttle with its cruise speed of 15,000 knots, max altitude of 275,000 feet. And so here we are at Edwards Air Force Base in California with the space shuttle indeed. Now, by the way, this video is not sponsored. They just sent me an early preview. And I can say whatever I want. I mean, I don't care. And I definitely will. Now we can already see the pattern. The exterior model looks great. I mean, we can already see the thousands of ceramic tiles here. We can see every fuel line here that goes into the engine. This is the best 3D model of a space shuttle I've ever seen. Look. Let's get into the cockpit, and here it is equally impressive. We are on board an airplane that is already turned on. It's not really an airplane, it's more of a spacecraft. And the systems are already running. Here we have our primary flight display that shows stuff. Here we have this, here we have that, here we have some more stuff to check out. Now, what I like is that at least the systems seem to be custom made. Something that isn't there is a fully interactable cockpit. Most of the stuff doesn't really work, which probably is a good thing because I have no idea what any of this does. OMS Eng, air data probe stow. This is not fully simulated, but the question is, does it have to be? Now, we don't know how much this airplane is going to cost. And though I would find the idea of having a full-on, fully modeled space simulator cool, I don't think the Microsoft Flight Simulator is a good place to do that. Anyway, the essential stuff works. We can turn on and off the lighting. Of course, this is our joystick right here. Now, this airplane is not, it's not powered. It's more of a glider, really. As you can see, we have no engine tab here. As we have got no fuel tanks on board, none of these engines work. So our throttle is more of a speed brake that we can move here. And the air brake right here opens and closes like a rudder dihedral on the rudder. Now, here are our control surfaces, which move nicely. And look, they're pretty nicely animated. Not bad at all. They move up and down and can control the pitch and the roll because it kind of rhymed. Now here we are in the back of the cockpit. This is a very fully manned spacecraft where of course we find once again most of the switches not working. Although this is of course also I think for takeoff and not really used for landing. In this add-on so far we can only experience what it's like to re-enter the orbit and land the spacecraft somewhere at an airport. We'll get to that later for sure. What else do we have here? We have some monitors. Do they work? Oh, they kind of work. They kind of don't. Well, I'm glad that they didn't use Windows here. What else is there? Google, how to land space shuttle in first try. Oh, great. Anyway, what is a very important switch is back here. Bay door, you can see we can open and close the bay door. Look at that. Yes, the past Captain Sim aircraft had some pretty cool animations. And look, we have one here. We have the United States of America for sure. In real life, you'd find different payloads in there. I'm so unfamiliar with the space shuttle, though. This is a flight simulator channel after all, so come on. Let's go ahead and close the bay door and go flying with the space shuttle. Now, we can't really take off. I think in the future there should be like an upgrade where you should like be able to put tanks in the payload and have the space shuttle fly like an airplane. I did that in the X-Plane Flight Simulator years ago. No, in order to properly fly and land this plane for now, we have to go into the activities menu, go to custom content, and here we have a landing challenge of the space shuttle. Now, as you can see, I'm recording this days before this video releases because of my own time issues, doesn't matter. And so they've been able to only send me a preview build, which doesn't have any thumbnails on it. And the problem is that the atmosphere approach, the approach that sets you airborne at 275,000 feet, something that is needed to begin the phase 1 of the entry, doesn't quite work. Look, right now, this is not going to be in the final release, they say. Look, it says you left the activity. Look, it says you left the activity area. Something we can do now already is try the TAEM approach, where we spawn in at the phase 2 of landing the space shuttle, where we're at an altitude of 24 kilometers, 15 miles, 50,000 feet, and are supposed to do a crazy, like, zigzag maneuver over the airport and do like this thing and do like this thing and land. I have no idea. In fact, to find that out, we might want to look at the space shuttle manual that Captain Sim, delivers the aircraft with. Please do not expect all systems to be functional and programmed in strict accordance with real space shuttle orbiter specification. And also don't expect me here to be a good space shuttle pilot. All right, so we're going to spawn here. You have now full control. Follow the flight path towards the heading alignment cone. No idea what the hell that is. Heading alignment cone, the first direction which is designed to align the orbiter with the runway from approach and heading. Okay, enough yapping, let's fly. Good. All right, here's NASA's shuttle landing facility here in Florida. So let's go ahead and press ready to fly. And we're spawned in now at 50,000 feet and we're losing altitude very much. Okay, so welcome aboard the space shuttle, everybody. Here we have a few things in our primary flight display. Let's turn on the head-up display, which works, yes. Let's make it a bit brighter, yes. Now, we're at Mach 0.8. That is good. We can see as we move the joystick, the elevator indicator works, the aileron indicator works as well, so that is good. Space shuttle is flying well, all is good. We're actually very near our airport, and here we're now supposed to lose speed and altitude. Now, if we're looking for a tutorial on how to land the space shuttle, this is not it. Someone else has to do that properly. Go ahead and zigzag a little bit. Down there is the runway. Yeah, this is a very interesting, this is really just a glider. And all the while, it's not really a good glider. Delta Wing doesn't make it very easy. Anyway, it is probably way too early to put out the landing gear already, but we can do that anyway. Here is the gear deploy. Can we put that down? We have to arm it first and then down. All right, I see. Now it comes down. Look at that. The landing gear comes down, and I think that's very permanent. We can't put the landing gear back up. And we can see runway down there, and we can see a little blue marker of the touchdown zone where we're supposed to land. Now, I'm kind of just circling the airport unprofessionally, and then trying to align with this very, very, very long runway. And here, we can see the beautiful tiles. I like this. Now, come on. Once again, a bit of another orbit. Down there is runway. I think I'm going to be able to do the first butter on the space shuttle. Okay, looks good. We're losing speed a lot. We might be able to land already. So let's go ahead and put there we go. Speed brakes out and come down very rapidly. Here is the head-up display out of this tiny, tiny window. We should have the runway pop up any second. There it is. Let's stabilize the aircraft and land it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That has worked magnificently. Now, let's try this again, but from full altitude. Let's go ahead and select our location, which should be right here, runway 15 of the NASA Shuttle's landing facility. And then we're going to spawn ourselves maybe right here to do a long re-entry. In real life, the phase 1 entry starts at 122 kilometers. I've already said that. The problem is that it's 400,000 feet above air, and the Microsoft Flight Simulator has a maximum altitude of 275,000, which is nearly space, but we have clear problems with the Microsoft Flight Simulator limitations. All right, so let's go ahead and start this. As you can see, we have this kind of movement. We see even these tiles light up. they glow. And this is what I find insanely cool right here. I didn't expect that. I didn't know that. We're now moving at 2,000 knots. I'm gonna pull out the map right here just so that we know that where we're going. I'm glad that this is made out of ceramic, because otherwise we'd be in lots of trouble. Right now, and this is what I find insanely cool, the autopilot is turned on. The roll and the pitch autopilot is flying this airplane right now, as it seems. And I find that immensely cool. We don't even have to do anything. All we need to do is not blow up. All right, meanwhile, all is well. Let's turn on everything we need. Don't know what any of this does, but okay, 70,000 feet. There should be our destination airport showing up soon. We are right now barely at the speed of sound, which is why we're just gliding here through the air without being able to hear any wind. But okay, all is well. Now, I'm not here to judge whether this is a realistic re-entry. This we have to find out in a few days when this thing fully releases. But so far, not too bad. I mean, we are losing quite a little bit of speed and altitude. We're falling down like a rock, really. We're now at 50,000 feet. Let's go ahead and unleash the... Come on. Can you turn off the autopilot? Hello, autopilot. Let me fly the airplane. You're probably crashing it here into a lake. I don't like that. Anyway, something we can do for landing is turn on the dragsual armament, which I think is really, really cool. Anyway, we now have full control of the space shuttle as we have now surpassed 50,000 feet. All is well. Let's bring the airplane down. In fact, right now I can see the airport in front of us. We're at a good speed. Let's make sure not to crash this time. Last time the airplane very much stalled out. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. We have a stable speed. Let's get the birdie of our head-up display aligned to the runway so we'll make it. Hey, come on, looking good. We're losing quite a lot of speed, as we can see here in the airspeed indicator. That's a bit scary. Can you imagine the stress of the pilots here on their approach to think we have no go-round? We're on a glider that couldn't be worse designed for a glider, really. Okay, runway is there. We might make it, but we might not. Okay, looking good. At 9,000 feet, runway is over there. Okay, we're ready to get the landing gear down, I think. Let's put the landing gear down. Yes, look at that. The runway's over there, indeed. This is probably the worst re-entry into the atmosphere. If NASA ever sees this, they're gonna be very mad at my skills. But look at this. 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 We're getting quite slow. We're getting quite slow. We don't want to go beyond 200 knots. Stop falling down like a rock. Okay, looks good. Come on. You should be able to pull this off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't make it. God damn it. I didn't make it. Aww. All right, hold on. We need to slow mode ourselves up. I think it comes to a surprise of how steep you have to approach this. Probably closer to this. This looks like, I mean, in an airplane, this would be absolute hell. But I think in a space shuttle, this is genuinely how steep your approach is supposed to be. Maybe I could have watched a tutorial before this. Maybe someone should make a tutorial for this plane. Come on. Here it is now, the runway coming up. Let's land. Okay, that hasn't gone well. Let's go and put the drag chute out. Yes, deploy the drag chute. Look at that, and it works. And it makes sense. The space shuttle in real life does not have brakes at all, I think. I think it doesn't. Look, and we are stopping here now. That was probably the hardest landing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm sorry. But something I realized is that here the flight physics don't seem that bad at all. This plane flies like it has this delta wing, so not too shabby. Look, I feel like making this add-on must have been really hard because you're very much under the restriction of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can't really fly that high. You're barely able to fly very fast either in the Flight Simulator 2020. I'm very much excited to see though what they'll come up with over the next few days before they release this thing. So far, I think I would say as a little gimmick, this is definitely supposed to say one approved. I mean, no modern flight simulator has the space shuttle these days. It's not bad at all. So I'm gonna thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finder, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.